What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Educated Barfly. Today we are doing something that we used to do a while ago and we stopped doing for a bit, but we're doing viewer-created cocktails again. Viewer-created cocktails. People have been asking me, why have you stopped doing viewer-created cocktails? This was a pretty, I don't know why we stopped. I think just like COVID happened, quarantine happened, priorities changed. We were like really, kind of treading water for a while, and then just things got backburnered. And then there's just some stuff that we've been meaning to get to that we just haven't gotten back to. But I got a message actually from this dude, Christopher Odegaard, that comments quite a bit, and he's been watching our channel for a long time. And he was like, hey, what happened to that viewer created cocktails? I really liked it. And it's just like, it snapped me back. You know what? I'm going to start going back into the list and picking those viewer created cocktails. We did a bunch of them, but not a ton. And it'd just be really nice to do them again. So I went and found some that caught my fancy. Today we're doing another Manhattan variation. And it's actually a Manhattan mashed up with like a martini, but it's like a Manhattan mashed up with like a sweet martini. It's pretty crazy. It's called a black martini is what the creator has called it. And when I looked at the ingredients to begin with, I thought, this dude is either a genius or crazy, or he's a crazy genius. I can't really, I'm just gonna have to taste this drink to kind of figure out which one of those three he is. And then when I started looking at his email, I realized there's actually a ton of history attached to the bar that this guy works in. So the cocktail was created by a guy named Cole Sweeney of Virginia Beach, Virginia, and he works at the Hunt Club, which is underneath the historic Cavalier Hotel in Virginia Beach. I wrote down a little bit of the history because I started doing a little bit of a deep dive on the Cavalier Hotel because he said historic Cavalier Hotel, but didn't go into it. So I didn't have a lot of time to sort of like internalize and put into my own words the history.
I take that with a grain of salt when you say it like,
what?
The historic this.
Well, this actually has
that.
So basically, this hotel was constructed during that American time of plenty called the Roaring '20s, and it was a major development that really pushed forward the further development of Virginia Beach. Notable people who stayed at the hotel are Harry Truman, Muhammad Ali, Doris Day, Judy Garland, F. Scott Fitzgerald. Those are not only truly famous people, but truly old-timey famous people, There were some other contemporary ones as well, but I didn't write them down because they were less interesting. The hotel was was also commandeered by the U.S. Navy during World War II as a training camp, which I thought was pretty interesting. So there's actually real interesting history attached to the Cavalier Hotel. It makes me want to go visit. And it makes me want to go down into the bar there and have Cole Sweeney mix me up. Well, hopefully I'll like this drink and he can mix this one up for me. But if not, I'm sure he has plenty of drinks that I'll like. I'm looking around, figuring that I did actually forget something, as is my want. So let's just get it and get into it. Okay, so basically a mashup of a Martini and a Manhattan, although when I first looked at it, my brain had registered London Dry Gin, which I thought, whoa, but then I realized it said Ransom, so it's actually Old Tom Gin and barrel aged, which is actually going to go really well with this. I actually did not memorize the specs on this one, so let's take a look real quick. All right, so this is what we're going to do, people. First, we're going to do 2 dashes of Fizz bitters. And it's orange bitters, sorry. And the thing about Fizz bitters, okay, it's 2.5 because of that little half dash doesn't count in my opinion. Okay. What I like about Fizz is that Fizz is like the very clean sort of distilled flavor of the fruit, and that is the main flavor profile in their bitters. Not to be bogged down by other bittering elements and competing flavors. It is so when it says like West Indian orange bitters, it means West Indian orange bitters. Very, I think that that's a very important distinction between some other bitters companies that may put in some things that have more robust flavors that will complement the orange, but not necessarily just be straight up orange. Quarter of an ounce of Luxardo Maraschino. I said maraschino, but I think it's actually maraschino. That's fine though. People, you can bust me if you like. I do not mind. All right, what do we got? Okay, 3/4 of an ounce of Old Tom Gin, and then 3/4 of an ounce of Averna. So 3/4 of an ounce of Old Tom Gin. And 3/4 of an ounce of Averna. I just wonder if we're gonna, like, I'm wondering if the Averna is gonna be so strong that it just sort of blows everything else out of this cocktail. But I don't know, we'll see. And then 1.5 ounces of Rittenhouse, and it actually called for Rittenhouse specifically. All right. What?
No.
And then
watching.
You just make a lot of faces behind that camera, and sometimes I like, are you trying to communicate with me, or are you just like stretching your gums or doing other weird things that you do with your face? I don't know. Maybe you're just stretching your gums. I have no idea. That's why I ask you. Like, I'm always like, what? Like, what? I'm always hoping that it's going to be some type of witty banter that it's going to lead to something.
You always want that?
I just want to, I like when you...
It doesn't seem like you always want that. Sometimes you go like, what?
Well, here's the thing. Sometimes...
The death stare.
Sometimes you will ask me, like you'll throw me curveball questions that I don't necessarily have an answer to.
Right.
And then I find it a little befuddling.
But I don't know.
And I think that my death stare can be attributed to the RDF, the resting dick face that I have. I have to laugh every time I say that. I think it'd just be attributed to RDF. So if we just say, like, hey, Leandro has RDF, maybe he's not. Because here's the thing. What I, in my mind, think my face is doing is, in my mind, it's the exact opposite of what it's actually doing, I think. That's why I told you that story of the guy on the train. Mm-hmm. Right? So I think that kind of...
But sometimes you, like, your face changes when you go like, what is he going to say now? You're like, what? Wow.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, but the thing is that, in all honesty, I actually really do like it when you spin the video off into a completely random... I'm not sure if our viewers really appreciate it very much, but I like when we go off into like random tangents about things. And then we're just going to, after we have stirred and ignored our cocktail and talked to Marius for a little while, we're going to strain into our coupe. And then the thing is that he actually didn't say anything about a garnish, so I left it sans garnish. Although, for some reason, I don't know if it's the color of this or whatever, but I just want to put an orange on it.
Maybe that's why I didn't.
Why? Because he was like, Leandro's really going to want to put an orange on this, so I'm going to say no garnish. Interesting. And you know what? The Old Tom Gin is not lost at all, which I'm really surprised about. If anything, the Old Tom Gin, even though it's only 3/4 of an ounce, the Old Tom Gin might very well be the most prevalent flavor profile in this cocktail. It's like an undercurrent of it, but I can taste it, and I can taste it first thing. And then we have Averna. I can taste that as well. The Luxardo. Okay, so let me figure out what this is doing. So it's like so befuddling. I'm kind of beside myself. I'm tasting so many things all at the same time. I don't even know where to begin with this cocktail. It is very pleasant, I will say that. I do like it. Okay. What do I taste first? I taste the Old Tom Gin. It kind of devolves into the Averna. And you get that little hint of sort of orange bitters right on the end of it. And then you have the Rittenhouse playing kind of the body. But what's crazy is that even though at 1.5 ounces, this guy's playing second fiddle to this guy at 3/4 of an ounce. And this guy is the most prevalent flavor profile. And so now, when I think that the cocktail's name is a black martini, it makes perfect fucking sense. Because it reads like a gin cocktail more so than a rye cocktail, even though it has 100 proof rye. I think I'm going to declare Cole Sweeney a crazy genius. Not crazy, not just a genius. He's a crazy genius. Also, I realized that this is on my cutting board, and I'm wondering
What is that?
which bottle it came off of. I want to say that it oh, look at that. The dasher top sort of like fell apart on the, the dasher top is still in there, but part of it broke off. I was just wondering if that came off of the stopper or like where it came off of, but it was plastic. So I was like, it's probably the orange bitters. This is really fantastic. I could see this with an orange twist. I want to have an orange twist on here. So I'm just going to say Garnish with an orange twist. Cole Sweeney, I'm making an executive decision about this. I'm sorry.
Sure.
This needs an orange twist.
Let us know if he disagrees.
I think he will let us know if he disagrees, but I gotta say that, this is an email that came through in June. Who knows if Cole Sweeney is even watching our channel anymore? This was last June. This was yeah, this was like, dude, last June was another lifetime, The things that I was thinking about and worried about last June, all right, is like it's almost as if we were in the Millennium Falcon and went warp speed into the future.
No, you're mixing up. The Millennium Falcon could do warp speed.
Well, that's Star Trek. The Millennium Falcon does do light speed, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just hyperspeed.
Hyperdrive. Yeah. Is it hyperdrive? It's hyperdrive, probably. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I actually what's funny too is that I'm not a Star Trek fan at all. I never got Star Trek. It was never my thing. Star Wars has always been my thing. Oh, Star Wars has always been my thing. But the thing is that I'm not such a big fan of Star Wars that the prequels didn't completely destroy the franchise for me. So when the new 3 started coming out, I went in very, very skeptically. That being said, I am a big enough Star Wars fan that I make full use of Disneyland and obvs Cantina and everything. I fucking love it. Just Disneyland, honestly, what's really funny is that when I was a kid and growing up, my parents took me to Disney World when I was like a little too old. I was like, it's like, I don't know. I grew up like, not very wealthy. I grew up like, lower middle class, right? So like going to Disney World or something like that, like going on a trip on a vacation, that was like a big deal for us, right? And so I didn't actually go to Disney World until I was like 16 or something or 15. And so I was like, sort of that and like kind of I'm too cool for anything phase, right? And so, growing up, I never when I went, I was excited internally, but not showing it externally. And we went to Epcot Center and we saw all this really cool stuff. And it was really, really cool. But I never really admitted that I was into it. But then I grew up, I moved to LA. I was like trying to be an actor, finding myself or whatever. The thing is though, is that I never really went to Disneyland. And then when then me and Anika started going to Disneyland and I had more of an appreciation for it. And then I really rediscovered it through my children. And now I can't get enough of it.
I actually got an annual pass this year. Woohoo!
Oh, you did? That's awesome. We have had
not so awesome because
you can't go.
It was like 1 month you could go.
That's true. Yeah, it was 1 month you could go, and hopefully they re-up, and hopefully they'll do you a deal though. I think they probably do you a deal. They're really good about that kind of stuff.
They didn't charge me.
But now this time, for March's birthday, we went and stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, and then we recently stayed again. We'll stay overnight at one of the hotels and then do the park. We'll do the park, stay at the hotel, then do the park in the morning, and then we'll leave. And it's been it's awesome. And what I love about Disneyland is that all the old rides are still there. So you can kind of rediscover. Most of those old rides though, like the Pinocchio ride, the storybook boat trip is really cool because it's those little tiny miniatures. And then what else? And then the teacups are there, and then the Matterhorn, all these Matterhorn was operational last time I went.
Oh, yeah.
This has become a very long. We're gonna have to cut this down. This is the members. This is what members get.
I thought they were saying that they were gonna change the Small World after all, but I'm not sure.
Oh, that would be weird because that's one of my highlights. That's one of the.
Yeah, I think it's
the thing we do every time we go is
right,
it's a
I
Small
think
World
they're changing
ride.
it because it needs to be more PC.
Oh well, I could see that. I could see that. I mean, But also, my kids are really into the Little Mermaid ride. We'll go on that five times. It's in the Disney Pixar area.
Right.
And
Adventureland?
No, like you know where the big Ferris wheel is?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the big Ferris wheel, and then around the corner is like the Monsters Incorporated, and then like all the Pixar stuff.
Disney Adventure. That's not.
Oh, that's California Adventure across the way.
Adventure.
We do both parks, so it's you know, it's still Disney, man.
Yeah. Sure.
All right, I guess that's it for this video because we're just bullshitting about Disneyland. So if you like,
There's an interesting documentary on Disney Plus about the Imagineers.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch that. I love that.
And like how they first launched California Adventureland and it kind of totally flopped, because it wasn't Disney enough. It was a park next to Disney, but there were no Disney rides in
Well,
it.
I kind of feel like they took the adventure and California theme too far.
Yeah, and then they started incorporating the Disney things and put Mickey on the Ferris wheel. And
although I got to say that my favorite ride at California Adventure is called Flying Over California, and it's
soaring over California, isn't it?
Whatever.
Right.
You fly in a machine over California, and they spritz you with like you go over an orange grove, and they spritz you with like orange essence and stuff, and it's awesome. It might be soaring over California. I think you're right. Yeah. I don't know. I co-opt the titles of things and then name them my own names.
Yeah. I don't think that ride has aged well, but we'll see.
Well, I don't know. I haven't been on it in quite a few years. And quite honestly, the last time I was on that ride was before I had children, because now when I go there, I don't get to do those things for myself.
Video technology has come a long way since that was installed.
All right. Well, Cole Sweeney, thank you for your crazy genius drink, the Black Martini. I feel like I cut Marius off, and Marius had more to say about Disney, and he wanted to talk about it more, and I just started ending the video. But I kind of feel like if we want to talk about it, we should just talk about it off camera. This is going to be a job to edit for you.
But good thing we have these timestamps now. We can just skip right past it.
That's true. Yeah, actually, I got to say, though, that I did like a little thing, just like asking people if they like the timestamps, and most people are like, I don't really use them because I rarely skip through your videos, which I actually like. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So maybe those people will be irritated now and start using them. All right, if you like our channel, please hit like and subscribe. Check us out on our YouTube memberships. I got to figure out a less clunky way of saying that, and I will one day. I'm just a slow learner, I guess. Slow to adopt things. And then check out our Teespring and our cool Barfly merch. And I will see you guys on another time.